another edition of Music Monday from the podcast, Nurture the Mind. I am your host, Cole Poots, and we have another music reaction. And this week, I'm just going to get straight into it. It's Roger Waters, who is a part of Pink Floyd, and the song is Time. It's the official lyric video that we're going to go through. And then it says DSOTM Redux. So I believe, if I'm correct, because this is a suggestion from my brother, Dakota Phillips. Let's see what he said in the message. I got to go back here. He said, Ayo, I mentioned this song in my Vox earlier. I think it deserves a reaction video, or just a reaction in general, considering the stages we are in life. This song contains a haunting yet thought-provoking view on getting older. It's a redux from Pink Floyd's Time, so you've probably heard the lyrics before. Yeah, I don't remember this song. I'm not sure if I have actually heard it or not. Maybe I have. Maybe it'll be somewhat similar once it starts to play. But I love Pink Floyd. I love everything that they've done. It's funny because Dakota is actually, the person that got me into Pink Floyd. And I feel like so much of their music litters, even my early 20s, being 26 right now, turning 27 next week. Dakota introduced me to Pink Floyd back in my early 20s, when I was still smoking pot, getting high, hallucinating, having a very trippy time. And yeah, I think what really spurred Dakota to send this suggestion for a reaction is him and I talk on, there's an app, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with this app, but it's called Voxer. And you can literally just send audio messages back and forth to people. So it's kind of like a walkie-talkie app. And with each Vox that you send, there's a cap off time of 15 minutes. So you can literally talk for 15 minutes before it gets cut off, and then you have to send another Vox. And me and Dakota have been doing this, I don't know, since 2017 or 16, or maybe shortly thereafter, 2018, one of those years. And we've always communicated that way, to exchange ideas, to talk about topics, to talk about things that are going on in our lives. And that's how we still keep up with each other for the most part nowadays, because he lives up in Ames. I live down in Indianola. So we're about an hour away from each other. And life often gets really busy and hectic, so we're not always able to meet up in person and have our bro talks. So this is a way for us to stay in touch. But I think what we were talking about here recently was just this aspect of time that we're all accustomed to. And it's weird how when we are young, we have this completely different perception of time. It feels like time is going on, but obviously at a very slow rate when you're younger. And I'm saying that even went on into my early 20s. But as I've started to get through my mid-20s, and I would say these last 2 years or so, really once I turned 24, because that was the year that I started to go full-time in the workforce, and then 25, 26, like I said, about ready to turn 27. So basically for the last 2.5, 3 years or so, I feel like time has just gone by incredibly quick. My perception of time has completely changed. And I think what we were doing on Vox in reference to this suggestion is we were just talking about that. And I was telling him, before we got on Vox, sometimes through texting each other, because we both have iPhones, you can also send audio messages in the texting app on the iPhone. And so we did that there for a while before we got Vox. But anyways, I was going back and I was listening to these audio messages that him and I were sending to each other in 2016, 2017. And just, the way that we were talking to each other, the subjects that we were speaking about, just the whole essence of both of our personalities is so far different than the person that you guys see today on camera with these videos. Like 2017, 2016, I would have been 19 and 20 because in 2018, that's when I turned 21. And so, I don't know, man, it really kind of caught my attention there for a second, because when I was listening to those audio messages, it almost kind of stunned me. It almost baffled me, because I had almost like entirely forgot that time existed, and it was a big part of my life. Dakota is one of my best friends. He's my fucking bro. We've been through so much shit together. Like, he's literally seen it all. And it was like I completely spaced out that entire time in my life. And that's in part because it was a while ago, so I don't think about the past all that often. And then two, it's because I have completely changed who I am, in the last 5, 6, 7 years. And so it's just like, I don't identify with that person anymore, because that's not me. I've grown, I've evolved, I've changed. So anyways, a lot to be said in the intro. All that to say, that's what sparked this suggestion. So I'm very interested to listen to this, to see what Roger Waters, Pink Floyd, what their concept is of time, what they have to say about it. Obviously, I think it's going to be very thought-provoking. So 7 minutes and 25 seconds. Okay, so we got some length here.
The voice had been there all along, hidden in the stones in the rivers, hidden in all the books. Hidden in plain sight. It was the voice of reason.
Dude, this feels so fucking hypnotizing right off the bat. The instrumental, the lyrics, I feel like I'm going on a voyage right now. A deep descend. Guitar. Peaceful. Bro, this is like meditation for the mind. So true.
Kicking around on a piece of ground in your hometown, waiting for someone or something to show you the way. Tired of lying in the sunshine, staying home to watch the rain. You are young and life is long, and there is time to kill today. And then one day you find 10 years you've got behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun.
Oh, bro. This shit is gonna make me fucking cry. like the visuals on this lyric video, by the way. Very simple, just a bunch of clocks, man. Just floating and wasting away, just like how we're losing time by seconds, by every day. Now we're in the galaxy. Now we're amongst the stars.
You run and you run to catch up with the sun, but it's sinking. I'm racing around to come behind you again. The sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older. Short of breath, and one day closer to death. Every year is getting shorter. Never seem to find the time. Plans that either come to naught or half a page of scribbled lines. Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. The time is gone, the song is over. Thought I had something more to say. Home, home again. I like to be here when I can. Oh yeah, I've come home cold and tired. It's good to warm my bones beside the fire. And far away across the fields, the tolling of the iron band calls the faithful to their knees to hear the softly spoken magic spells.
Damn, it's weird how simple that was, but yet it makes you think so deeply about time, this aspect of time that I was just describing in the intro, and how my perspective on time has changed as I've gotten older. And like I said, the last 2.5, 3 years, it feels like it's just flown by without me even really being able to try and stop it or like slow it down. And yet when you're a kid, time is infinite. I remember being a kid and thinking to myself, like, I'm never gonna get old. I'm never gonna be 30. Like, it's never gonna happen. I'm gonna stay here forever. That young naivete type of mindset. Now I'm gonna be 27. I'm looking in the barrel of 30 years of age, and I'm excited about that. Like, I've heard a lot of good things about turning 30 and getting through those very struggling years of the 20s, the onslaught of the 20s. But it's just crazy to think. When I was young, I never thought my parents were going to get older. I thought they were superheroes. I thought they were going to live forever. And as you get older, it warps and shapes your perspective, all the experiences that you have in life, formulates this new understanding of how things actually are. I don't know, man, like listening to this song, really browsing through those lyrics, there wasn't a ton of lyrics. And again, I thought they were pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but it almost makes me think like I need to take more advantage of the time that I do have left on this earth, because we all say, okay, yeah, like we got more time, but you also don't have a clue as to how much time you actually have left, because there's circumstances that are outside of ourselves. Like I could get hit by a car tomorrow. Hopefully it doesn't fucking happen, but it could happen. It almost just makes you want to take more advantage, like do more things. Like this is such a hard balance for me, because I think I've said this maybe a few times on the channel, just with my workload and what I do outside of these reaction videos, because I record these things on the weekend. Every Saturday I record a video, so that takes a little while to do. And then on Sunday, I edit the video, I get it ready to be posted. That might take me like an hour or so, or a little bit over an hour. And then on top of that, Monday through Friday, I'm working as a personal trainer, training people 8 hours a day for those 5 days. And I'm having just like so many conversations, so much fucking stimulus that's going into my brain. And so I always rationalize and justify in my own head that it's okay to sit back on the weekends and not do much, which means, I typically won't really hang out with too many people. I see my parents on Sunday nights. I always go over there and have dinner, watch sports, do my laundry, stuff like that. But typically that's it. I don't necessarily get with friends, don't do a whole lot. Like I live like a very simple and kind of boring lifestyle to many people. And I don't know, it's just like a lot of times I think about this. I'm like, am I just like kind of wasting time, precious time that we have on this earth? And it's also, I think, a lot different with where our culture and where our society and where our world is at now. You think about, 10, 20, 30 years ago, and then in that time, the advent of the internet, which then led to social media. Like now that we have this technology and all of these devices and these screens, and although it is a tool, like we can't deny, like there are positive aspects of those things. In a lot of ways, it's a time fucking vampire that just sucks the time out of us. We spend so much time wasted on these things, which also then just kind of makes us complacent, with, I guess, how our life is operating right now, where then we don't really take any more chances or make those decisions on the weekends, even if you're a little bit tired, like making the effort to go see that friend, making the effort to call a loved one, to put yourself in a vulnerable place where you might be able to meet a potential partner, because that's something else that I've talked a lot about on the channel. I don't know, man, this song just really kind of puts it all into perspective, which I already think about this topic quite often. And I think like the question that I would pose to myself and to anybody who feels this exact same way that's listening, is there some like logical, reasonable things that we could do while we're still here on this earth to kind of shift our perspective and slow down that time? Obviously, one thing that can combat time from speeding up is being present in one's life. I'm sure you guys have all had a similar experience to this, but when I ultimately feel so present and so in the moment, and so much so that I'm in that flow state of mind, and I'll just give you like an example. This will happen sometimes when I'm in a conversation with somebody and we start talking about something, like a topic like this that's like really deep and gets me really animated. And like I'm truly just absorbed, like I'm there with that person and I'm actively listening to them. I'm not just listening to them so I can get my next response in there. Like it's a conversation that serves both parties. when that happens, when you are truly present, it doesn't necessarily just have to be in a conversation. That's just the example that I'm giving. But when you've entered that flow state of mind where you're not really thinking too much, like you're not projecting too far into the future and you're not obsessed with things that have already happened, things that are in the past, it's a magical, magical place to be. It's almost like the veil of time and our perception of time just like slowly washes away and dissipates, and you're just there. Like, I'm fully here in this moment. Obviously, none of us, can 100% of the time be in that flow state of mind. But certainly, I think there are probably things that we could do for ourselves that would get us there more often. And I know for certainty, for a matter of fact, I know the screens and the stimulation, the overstimulation that we subject ourselves to on a daily basis is zapping us of that flow state. Another thing, I'm not sure if I've talked about this on the channel. I probably have at various points, and I'm not going to go into depth about it because it would take a lot of time to describe, but there was a moment in time back in the summer of 2021, and that was like when I started to become religious and I started to pray to God out loud. And there were a lot of things that like spurred this change, that prompted me to make even more changes. But that time, that whole summer, it was a time where I had the most amount of peace in my life. And I just remember at that point in time, I made a really concerned effort to get off of technology, to get off of my phone. I don't remember what my screen time was like around that time, but it had to be like dramatically low. Like, I'm talking like maybe just over an hour or right around an hour, or maybe even less than an hour. I'm not saying that's the only reason why I felt that amount of peace, but I'm just saying that, like, I think these devices, the internet, social media, we have so many distractions in our lives right now. We're way too stimulated. We're entertaining ourselves to death. And again, I understand like some of these things serve a purpose. It's good to have downtime and to just kind of mindlessly scroll or do something that's very mindless. But I think especially, generations that are close to me, even generations older, we're going to start to recognize, hopefully sooner rather than later, how much time are we wasting where it could be spent somewhere else? It could be spent in a way that would be productive for our lives. All of us struggle with certain things, whether it be mental health, whether it be our weight, whether it be like trying to find, better relationships. What if instead, if you didn't fuck off, if you didn't waste a bunch of time, because we already understand this elusive element of time is always kind of running away from us to the point where we feel like we're trying to catch up and get ahead in life. What if we used our time more productively to create a better outcome for our lives? We would be more happy with the time that we are spending. So I don't know, man. I think this is a powerful song. I thank you, Dakota, for the suggestions. Dakota has given me like 3 suggestions on this channel. One was like, no, actually it's more than that. It's probably like 4 or 5, but he's given me some Falling in Reverse songs. He gave me my introduction to Sleep Token, and now this. Every time he gives me a suggestion, it's always like a powerful experience. I think that's because Dakota, he truly knows me at my essence and at my core. We have these types of talks, like literally every single time I talk to him. He's like one of the few people in my life where we reach that depth almost immediately. Even if I haven't seen him for like 6 or 7 months, we pick up right where we left off. Like, it's insane. But no, this time, this whole idea of time, this reaction, this song, this concept, I feel like it's almost a call to challenge humanity to be better, to be more wise, to be more thoughtful, with our time because we're losing it every second that goes. And it's fucking scary, man. You just, as you get older, perspectives change and you're like, I need to value my time more because I'm losing it. I'm fucking losing it. Like, I turn 27 next week, and in the blink of an eye, fast forward 3 years from now, it'll happen very quickly. I will be talking to you guys hopefully about now I'm 30. And this is how I feel, and this is what I've learned, and these are the things that have changed. Like, it's just, man, I don't know. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to process. But that was obviously a fun experience. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's the reaction. That's the review. That's all I have to say. As always, if you guys are new to the channel, there are 4 things that I ask that you do. You don't got to do all 4, but I do expect that you do 1. Especially if you came over here, if you watched the video, if you got all the way through it, if you've been a reoccurring viewer to my channel, please subscribe to the channel, especially if you like my content, if you think it provides value, if you think it's something that other people need to hear, please subscribe and support me in that way. Trying to build up a following over here, trying to grow constantly. This is my dream. Trying to make it on YouTube, so I need your guys' help to make that a possibility, to make that a reality. Number 2, like the video. That's another way to support me, because that's just going to push my content out into the YouTube algorithm and basically tell YouTube, like, hey, this is some cool content over here. We like it, so other people need to see it. Other people are going to like this too. Third thing is, share the message. You can do that via conversations. Word of mouth is probably the most powerful source of advertising and marketing. So tell a friend about this channel. Tell anybody, a family member, somebody that you think might get value out of it as well. And if you don't share it that way, you can share it on social media to your followers so they can click on the link and come over here, watch the video, check out the channel. And then the 4th thing is, comment in the comment section below. Tell me about your story. Tell me about how you heard this band, this artist, this song, this project. That's where you can make suggestions for things that I'll probably check out in the future. It's just a great way to interact on the channel, and I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing about your stories. Love the compliments, obviously. Haters, I've said it a million times, stay the fuck away from my channel. I mean, I partly expect that it's going to happen. How could it not? It happens to everybody that's on the internet, that's putting themselves out there, that's making content, that's trying to be vulnerable, that's trying to grow. That's part of the territory that we operate in. But yeah, fucking haters, man. I wish they didn't exist. And then the last thing, I always talk about how here recently in January, I became a first form Legionnaire. So there's been mainly 3 products that I've been taking: magnesium powder, OptiGreens powder, and Masterbrain AM. But I have a ton of links to all of their products. If you guys go to any of those links and you buy a product, I get commission off of that. But I bring this up because I believe in this company. I know their shit works. Ever since I started taking it in January, I can tell that my physique is really starting to lean out, and that's from only taking 3 products. So you guys could look into a different product that's maybe a little bit more specific to your goals. Those links are going to be in the description below, and that will give you guys the opportunity to go look at those products, see what they have to offer. Is it conductive? Or is it productive to your guys' goals and what you want to accomplish? As I've said before, this is my dream right here on YouTube, podcasting, this kind of space. But right now, my full-time job is a personal trainer. I'm also pretty passionate about fitness, and it's not always about what you're doing in the gym. It's not always about the maximum amount of cardio that you can put out there. It's not about the weights that you can lift and how heavy you're lifting. A lot of times, bro, it's supplementation, it's diet, how much water are you getting into your system? Hell, it's even like, what is the type of information, podcasts, YouTube channels, what are you putting into your brain? Are you reading good books? Are you investing in yourself? Are you trying to learn? Are you trying to grow? Are you trying to evolve each and every day? It's all of those things. So that's why I talk about the supplementation. It's just another element out there to add to a healthy lifestyle. So if you guys are interested in their products, go check them out at my links. That's really it. I hope to see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. Love you.